Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another episode of Pep Talks in the morning. Today is by election day. Good morning, Harasa. How are you?
Good morning, Lim. I am doing well. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for joining us for this hour. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Yeah, I am feeling a lot of nervous energy. I'm very anxious. Um, Today is D-Day. Unlike the THA elections that we had in January, where I was sure that they were going to oust the PNM. I don't know how I feel this morning, just by virtue of the nature of politics in Trinidad and Tobago.
Especially
But I
Trinidad.
would say this, um, we can only do so much. We have brought the people this far. It's up to them to take it home. And we've worked very hard and fought through a lot of obstacles to ensure that we could give the people of Debe South a new option, and an opportunity to experience real representation
Yeah.
and change and transformation in their community. So it is up to them now. What do you think?
I yeah, but judging from the mentality of the people down there, they really don't see nothing wrong with the clogged drains and the mosquito filled drains.
Yeah.
And
Um,
the river that you can't tell the difference between the side of the road and where the river starts. So hopefully they would have listened and waken up to the reality, because again, I didn't understand the UNC guys campaign when it's your party in office and you campaigning like it's a new party, and there's the first time all you're trying to win the seat. You
yeah,
all have been there. So what the hell your former counselor was doing?
he was campaigning a lot on change, bringing the change that you guys need, and I was like, but you realize that
It's your
you're
freaking party there. What
going
change?
before.
The
No, the
only
thing about
change is
it is,
sitting counselor.
yeah. Now that type of campaigning could work if the UNC is honest with the electorate, and if they actually come and say, we recognize that we have failed you in the past, we recognize that we have neglected you in the past and whatnot, and
Yeah.
this is our promise to you going forward. That was not the approach. They really come out like if they're like, but as you was there before. Kind of
Yeah.
schizophrenic behavior.
It's like just ignore all the wrongdoing we've done and just focus on the future. Don't study all that
Yeah.
negativity. That's negativity, right?
So
And then
um
people stupid or something too.
I don't know. I mean, it looked as though people were very receptive to the Progressive Empowerment Party. What I
Yeah.
did not detect this year was the amount of angst and hate towards us, like in previous years.
Yeah.
Um, People were more open, and everybody on the motorcade would say, they got a lot of love. People were excited to
People
meet the
came out.
candidate and to see Philip and things like that. Um, of course, you still have to wonder if it was enough. We are we are hoping for a win this evening, and we have done everything to ensure that. I mean, even I am working the polls today, because we have to make sure that every vote that is, submitted for the PP is counted. And we were not able to do that in the 2020 elections, and we are not taking that for granted this year. So we are going to be monitoring the elections very closely.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's up to the people of DB South if they really want something different.
Let's hope they do, because What I saw there, oh boy.
Tell us in the comments, what are your predictions for the elections today? How are you guys feeling?
One person said they voted already. Thank you for that. She said pep
Awesome.
all the
So
way.
yeah. I mean, the polls that have been open from 6. I know the team has been working tirelessly. They were up early this morning. So thank you for that. And yeah,
Somebody said they're praying for the day right now. We say we need this. Yep, we do. We do. That would
yeah,
spark that change.
yeah. It's all about what win in that area would represent, what it would mean for all of Trinidad and Tobago. And I
Yeah.
really like our slogan for this campaign: when we win, you win.
Yeah. It's true because once Lorenzo wins, he will have everybody under the sun on his side. What happened? What they come and they tell you this time? Or
Yeah,
really?
behind him, exactly. And he would have the whole executive behind him maneuvering through
Yeah.
all the red tape and the bureaucracy that
Mm.
seems to clog up anything happening in these communities.
Yeah. And then he has the loudest voice on his side. So Philip will
Yeah,
shine them up if they put a
yeah,
toe out of place.
yeah. I mean, they really have a unique opportunity, and I feel like you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose.
So I
You
don't
have
even know
nothing to
why
show. Yeah.
PNM bother to send a representative. It's best they had get a girl the 3,000 tell her go in the grocery themselves, like don't bother with this campaign because they didn't even make an effort. So they just proved that they have
Mm,
absolutely no intentions of at all of ever giving a UNC area representation.
yeah, that is exactly it, and that is my feelings on the issue. Um, and I mean, Philip was talking on the live last night, and he was highlighting the fact that since back in Eric Williams' days, when literally the people of South were left to their own devices, and he called them the recalcitrant minority,
Mm.
um, people of East Indian descent in this country has literally had to fend for themselves. So they have become very self-sufficient and whatnot. So everything you see in those communities, everything that they have, that came from them, right? And they worked very hard and they worked their land and they send their children to school, and things like that. And in a lot of ways, even though they were ignored um, by PNM administrations, the they became so self-sufficient to the point where they have their own businesses now. Their children do really well, doctors, lawyers, engineers, etc. So I would say the PNL leaving them to their own devices turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, but
All the same though, if you are the government of a country, you are responsible for every citizen,
yeah, but that
including
is to show
areas
you.
that do not vote for you.
But that is to show you how nasty some of them just think too, eh? Because when Eric Williams said that, he had a setter Indian up in his ass then too, and they didn't stand up for the shit he said.
Well, and the same thing is happening. You will always find that, you would always find that. Yes, you have that now because what is Clarence Rambarat's excuse, right? He is supposed to be the loudest voice championing and raising the cause for farmers and for agriculture and because you're supposed to be so closely um, you know, connected, and you're supposed to know so well the plight of the farmers and whatnot. So what is Terence Dial saying whatnot? And again, we
Well,
cannot, we're not
Clarence,
making this about race, but you want to say, but if it is that you're supposed to be representing your community or whatnot, then if you make it in government, you have a responsibility to use your voice and to use your platform to raise the profile of these people and to bring change.
Clarence was the chairman or the CEO of the sugar factory that closed down. He closed it down.
Mhm.
So he's a sellout.
Yeah.
He's Indian house Negro. That's what Clarence is. Terrence is the same thing. Rohan Sinanan is the same thing. Because all the roads down south terrible. When you're driving down the highway, you saw that when we were driving down the highway, huge chunks of the pitch missing.
Yeah.
That man is a disgrace.
Yeah. And it happens on both sides. It happened on both sides. And that's why we always say, when people say adamantly that I am not voting for PNM, for whatever reasons, and they may throw in some explicits and whatnot, you have to say, okay, I understand. All right, I understand. Um, and
I
that
would
is what
never
they've done.
vote for PNM ever.
Yeah. But the thing about it is our political history shows us that people always know that PNM is the cancer. Because when you see parties like the COP come up and they were able to make some headway in, people were so happy for that alternative, or back in the day with NAR and stuff like that, when they totally ousted them, people always knew that what we needed was a new political option. People know that,
Yeah.
right? And it's like Akil said on Saturday, everybody could tell you what is wrong with Trinidad and Tobago. Everybody could tell you all the
Yeah.
problems with the pothole, with banking, with education, with healthcare. Um, and yet still, I mean, if I had time, I would like to literally study like the psychology of politics in Trinidad and Tobago, because it's maddening, but it is also very fascinating.
I would love
Um,
to just ask, you know, Terrence, Clarence, Rohan, and all the Indians in PNM, when Rowley throw in the Indian community face, what's so special about doubles? And doing things that target the Indian community. Because when you raise your tax on foreign used parts, that's the Indian community you're targeting there. When you do your shit with the bars, you're targeting Indians there. The doubles, that is Indian. When you purposely didn't open doubles people during the pandemic, but KFC and all kind of thing open, that was a target on the back right there again. How
even
else do
recently
you?
with how long they took to roll back the ban on the open air cremation,
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah,
Which
we have seen
which
a lot of
should have taken
discrimination.
out a serious lawsuit, because if Waterspain Corporation could still run their cremation to cremate people and you could have regular burials, what the hell was wrong with an open fire cremation? What you would
which
have
is
get?
what which is
Would
what
I get
we've been
heated
asking.
COVID?
Yeah, which is what we've been asking. Which is what we've been asking. Um, so what has happened that these people have been so neglected for so long. So when the UNC came along, they were just happy, right? They were just
Uh,
happy to have this option to vote for, and give Jack his jacket. The UNC was responsible for um any type of infrastructure and whatnot. People talk about communities where they never had water, and that was all Basdeo Pandey and things like that. So we have to acknowledge those things. And if
under
for
Basdeo
them,
Pandey was when certain PNM areas got water to my area. Got
yeah,
water. We didn't have to go by
yeah,
standpipe again and pull buckets.
yeah,
TN started to improve because every week, twice a week, current used to go here.
yeah,
Right? So TNTech improved. TNTech came out with a hotline. So you could have called and said, we have no current here. Right?
yeah,
It crime went down. It had a whole set of change. And he was like, right. And what mess up on there? That airport fiasco.
Yeah, I know. I know he did. I know because I mean we are still very much against the whole SEA and we want to abolish that. But under Basdio Pandey, no, there was no such thing as you pass common entrance and you fail and there was nothing for you to do. He made sure that every child had a place. So we have to give Jack his jacket. So I could understand if you were a community that was never served, that was never represented, and then you suddenly had a prime minister that was actually doing certain things, then I could understand why their loyalty is so tied, so tied to the UNC. But it is a new day now. It is a new day now, and there is more for us to do. There's more for us to accomplish. And the UNC has also proven that they are not up to the task. I mean, their administration was shrouded in so many allegations of corruption and things like that. And people actually got so fed up that they voted them out. So, you know, and we need people up to the task now to take our country forward. It no longer has to be one or two communities saying, well, we never had water and now we have water. It has to be we have water 24/7 through the entire country. We have to now set new goals and new standards.
Yes, we do. We really do, especially if we want to move into 2022. For Christ's sake, well, we want to go back in dinosaur age.
Speaking of dinosaur age, I mean, what we witnessed on Saturday at Ketan Jewelry Store on High Street, San Fernando, you cannot tell me that that is not barbaric.
Listen, I went high street already, and every one of those jewelry stores, I used to be like, but how these people comfortable with their jewelry like this? For anybody to see, you could pass and mash up the first glass and just grab and run. That's to tell you how on the pavement it is. And I used to be like, well, how are these people? And my husband is like, yeah, but they South, they don't have to worry about that. So I was like, yeah, but it's not South people robbing them. It's people from town coming up the road to do whatever and then fly back down. And my husband is like, good boy, how you can say that? I said, but when you hear all of the robberies, it's always Bitter man, Lavantil man, Mover man, Sealots man, somebody from up in them area.
Yeah. Very, very, very harsh reality that we have to deal with. And that is true. And I've always said that when you have, well, a government that continue to treat you like animals, right? So we have not moved forward in terms of education, healthcare, social development, job creation, or anything like that. And you literally now have people fighting for food card or anything like that, then you're going to get this type of behavior. People are getting more and more desperate. That is not an excuse, right? That is not condoning
But
the heinous crimes.
they're
But
getting desperate. But the same people that have all in that position, you're not going by them. Why you to go outside church young office and ask them, yo, what's the scene? We come to check you. You promise us a thing for election. Wait. Visit your MP. Go and sit down in front Fitzgerald Hines office.
Yeah.
Call Mimbert office and ask them.
Yeah. Yeah, and now they have the whole TTPS with this Commissioner of Police and Gary Griffith issue so tied up that they have completely shut down the issuance of FULs. So you as a law-abiding citizen, if you have a business or just might be a husband wanting to, have, some a little extra backup to protect yourself and your family and whatnot, you cannot do that now because that too has now been
precepted security to do that for you. That's what you have to do. Hire precepted security, right? So give them 1%, $300 out of your money that you making every single month now, extra.
So we literally out here fighting for our lives. That's what it is. No, this is survival of the fittest. You tell me this not feeling like the Hunger Games, Lemma. Every time You leave your house and you might tell yourself, well, just went to the grocery or whatnot, or even like on Saturday waiting for you by Mount Hope. That might seem so innocent and whatnot, and you don't know what
What?
car going to pull up, what going to happen or whatnot. The
Yeah.
country has gone crazy,
You don't know when somebody will pull out a gun and start to shoot up the place and you pick up a stray bullet.
right? So yeah, this is what we have. Tell us in the comments how you guys feel about that.
And then the
Um,
shooting in Diego Martin, where three of them get killed. Then the Rio Claro hunter that gets shot in the head. I don't understand. You're going looking for your dog and somebody kill you. What is
yeah.
happening?
Yeah, well, I say animals. If you treat people like animals, what you expect to come from them? Yeah, because he was talking about how the jewelry does be so open and close to the street in San Fernando. But in a civilized society, that would not be a problem, right? And rightly again, they did it like that because they felt safe and secure. Crime wasn't an issue or whatnot. But now with it moving in on everybody, right? I remember when Long John Silver's were in Trinidad, and they were one of the first fast food restaurants to have the soda dispensers.
Hmm.
So you get your cup and you could fill up whatever. And within months, they had to remove that because Trinidadians so never see come see, never see that. They would literally abuse it. But that's what happens when you don't expose your people and bring new modern ideas and concepts, whatever. You're going to find that when these things are introduced, you will abuse it.
Yeah.
And that is the government's fault. That is
Yes.
the people who we have chosen in positions of leadership. That is their fault. Why people does behave like the way that they behave, because we have left our people behind.
As usual. As usual. Hold on.
And we have McDonald Jacobs
This
claiming that,
man last names himself.
yeah, we have him claiming that what the crime is going down and it's not so bad. And they're trying to say that, well, in the Western Hemisphere, it is better. And so I was like, so people in the East and the South and Central is like, what, tough luck for us?
That man is a complete jackass, you know. Complete, complete, complete. It's like, and they get the dumbest looking picture of him to put up with every article. He's looked like something wrong with him. Why it is the people on the merit list don't sue the commission for placement? You don't want Gary, but you have three other people on the merit list.
Yeah.
Now, even if they put somebody under Gary could still sue because you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to put him first. So all of them should take out legal action to force the hand of them to put Gary back.
Yeah, legal action to get a chief justice or some judge friend who in the pockets of the PNM to strike down those motions. Lemma, the
How could
reason
you strike
why no,
something like that? I am on top of the merit list. There's no way you could say the prime minister lost faith in you is reason why you can't get a position that you are qualified for. You did the interview process and you came out on top. There's no way PNM can get out of that. The only way to get that rolling is legal action.
yeah.
Get Anand Ram Logan.
Yeah, but again, remember we talked about the fact that we do not go towards you know trying to haggle with the justice system in this country because we already believe that before you start you fail, because it does not work, and the will of politicians always seem to triumph. If it is they want a particular option, that is usually what we see. So people don't usually think, oh, well, I am going to fight this in court. when the courts are corrupted and tied up and in the pockets of government. Everybody sold to the highest bidder, which is exactly what is wrong with McDonald Jacobs, right? And why they will think that he is a good fit and a good choice because they
Because
have in him a yes man. They
yes,
have in him I want you to jump and he will say how high.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But it still doesn't deny the fact. But they could, the same meritless people could go to the industrial court.
True.
Industrial court is
And
the only courts that function in the best interest of workers. That is the only court that functions properly in this country.
I they should and they should pursue it and we can see what will come of it.
They need to do something because the longer they take to do it, is the longer this ass remain in position where he clearly doesn't deserve. Because if he was so deserving of it, why he didn't apply for the position? He must he still had 3CXC because he from them old school.
Yeah. But is it the same procedure that has to be followed because he is acting in the position? Is it that they can appoint whoever they want to act and that only
Yes,
applies to the appointment of a commissioner?
they could only put whoever is senior in the police service in acting commissioner position if you don't have anybody on the merit list. But you have people on the merit list,
You
so
have
you're
people.
supposed
So,
to put Gary.
either way,
If
they have
Gary
no excuse.
refuses, if Gary
Yeah.
refuses, you go to the next person until you have, exhausted the list. Then you go
All
back
the
to
options. Yeah.
your police service, the senior
Yeah.
police officer. So, so
Well,
the commission is failing in their responsibility. They have to put Gary there. It doesn't matter whether you like the man or not. He topped the interview. I just come out and say plain, Gary, I don't like how you just treat black people compared to the 1%. We have said it time and time again. You just treat them differently. You will see, I will find out the name, the plate, where they live in, and how much child fathers they have. But the 1% is protected. We have said it time and time again. But give Jack his jacket. The man topped the interview list. He is supposed to be commissioner.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And unless he refuses the position, then you go to the next person on the merit list and so forth. But you cannot deny the man his position that he earned. He topped the interview. There's no way getting around it.
Apparently, it works that way in our topsy-turvy
Because people
society.
are apparently afraid to tell Keith, no, this is not how it's done. Keep that bullshit for the people in parliament with you who actually afraid of you. You don't like the position the commission takes. We have to put Gary there. You don't like that? Well, then remove me as a commissioner then.
Well, he probably
People
has
need to
proven
start
himself
to
to be
take
a
a
thug.
stance on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of things that don't work in this country, your prime minister has given Marvin Gonzalez 6 weeks to report back to cabinet on the way forward where WASA is concerned. He has advised him to make use of the National Trade Union Center and the Joint Trade Union Movement to solve the issues at WASA. What do you make of that?
I don't know. I mean, you want to come down on Marvin, even though Marvin is the newest MP, the newest public utilities, new to politics, everything, to fix a problem that has been there from since 1962.
Yeah.
And then not even fix it there because you want it in such a way where you still have WASA in a position where they will forever be a political tool. So what fix exactly?
Yeah, and the guy have 6 weeks.
Yinka
right?
told me he discriminates and he should get the job. The man topped the interview process. He is the first person
He
on
is the
the list.
most qualified.
He's the most
Yeah,
qualified person. So
yeah.
he has to get it.
And
That is
every time he does the assessment, he comes out on top. He is the best, really, in truth.
And if all you have a problem with that, then when he does his foolishness, then Trinidadians need to get up and be vocal about it and not be keyboard warriors, because that's our problem. This government doing shit. And we are keyboard warriors. Everybody just know to go on Facebook and comment or whatever. When Progressive Empowerment Party have a march for anything, all you do is show up. But guess what? Where Candlelight Movement? Where Philip? Where Philip? Where Philip? Well, they wouldn't go in front of the National Security Ministry and ask, Fitzgerald, where you?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
you?
yeah,
All you need
yeah.
to see hypocrisy.
Calling on the wrong people. But I mean that's the same thing we're talking about here. Because let me see if I can find
That is what's
an
going on
analogy.
right now.
Somebody wrecked their own car. They wrecked their own car, run it into a lamppost, totally mash it up, destroy the engine and everything, and then bring it to a new mechanic and say, "Hey, I need this fixed tomorrow." Right? That is the craziness we have happening with WASA now. And like I saw a comment under this same article on Facebook, and the person was asking, so why you have to look externally, right? When you have managers who draw in 100,000 a month salaries, they don't have the answers. So why are they there? If the managers cannot come up with ways to was the word
Restructuring.
restructure restructure WASA so that it would be profitable and that they would actually do what they're supposed to do, which is get water to all communities, then why are you paying those managers? They have not
That's
earned
the
that.
problem. They have too much managerial positions, and that's where you need to start to get rid of positions like that. No, you don't start on the ground, because the amount of work WASA have to do, you're going to need all those ground people. Because it is what they need to do is section up the country properly. So right, so
Yeah,
you have a west team, east team, whatever, and then you can now put teams to go and fix leaks 24/7 in the whole of the west, right?
yeah,
And you set up your hotline to report leaks via north, south. The same way you could call TNTech and say a power outage in the north, south, east, west is the same thing WASA have to do now. Call and say, right, I'm reporting a leak from the west. And then they could even break it down more. What part of the west? If
yeah.
they get the app to work properly, you would be able to zone in on that too. But no, the app don't work. I don't understand. What shit is that? And they're so reactive. For elections in 2020, I was walking around in Anderson Terrace in the back there, and I reported a few leaks. And a whole year after, WASA calling me to ask me if the leak was fixed. So I was like, buddy, I don't live there, you know. I was campaigning and I saw the leak and I reported it.
But
I
it
said, so
took a
you
whole year.
see?
But it took a whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good luck, Minister Gonzalez. Um I don't know, Jordan. I don't know. When you see when these stories make the newspaper, I just always feel as though it's take me back to what I always say, which is the PNM knows how to fool people, which is you give the appearance
Yeah.
of you're doing something, that you're working,
Yeah.
because the prime minister talking about WASA will get people's attention because people know, I mean, how ridiculous that authority is. Right? But
But
then you have very little confidence that anything is going to come from it. You dump it on the new recruit, right? For him to fix 59, 60 years of failure, and you give him 6 weeks to submit a report on the way forward. right? And is it that if he's supposed to recommend, well, we need to start shaving off the top, we have to get rid of 40% of the managers that we have, we need to put more money into the groundwork, whatever we need to move into communities that have never had water before. If after he make his recommendations and submit his report, are they going to take it seriously?
But
Or
the thing
that going to
about
ruffle too much feathers? Too much friends and financiers going to be like, oh,
half of them managers would probably be PNM loyalists who get a reward, right? And they drain in WASA dry with them big salaries. The board also would be PNM loyalists that they give a little eater food position. And these are the problems in WASA. It could
yeah,
never be ground staff. It's the same thing they do with Petrotrin. You come out and you ball all the workers making exorbitant salaries. But the managers wasn't, the CEO, the chairman, the board wasn't making money. And then you have to pay the workers of Petrotrin because half all they can flicking do the physical work that they do. Right? And it's not to say a clerk come in there and say, right, I want 10,000 a month. And you'll agree to that. So obviously that's management fault. You close down a whole company for that. Plus to hide the bullshit with the AV oil nonsense. And then you
yeah,
come in now to talk about whistleblower. And it's like, what kind of upside down flicking world is this?
yeah.
The pet calling the pot bottom black.
The pot.
Pot
Yeah,
calling
because you have to ask yourself, well, what type of whistleblowing are you talking about, Kate Rowley? Because when the Progressive Empowerment Party dare to ask the Udicuts to please tell us where did you spend this $500 million on the renovation of the Red House? How do you justify spending $51 million on repairing doors that were already there, right? Then you unleash the whole justice system on us to shut us up, right? So what kind of whistleblower are you talking about? Because it can't be convenient. And then the UNC on the other side saying that they're not fed. I just so fed up, huh? This country is a whole joke.
Yeah, because the same man talking about it have an attorney general with some shady ass shit. Two people who was involved with him and some foolishness dead. Omar Samaru died by suicide. And was the
I
other
am
fellow?
I am going to put a counter at the top of this show so that every time you mention Omar Sapmaru, a little thing will ting.
And Don
Because
Polo. And Don Polo.
um right
Mark Adams is the next person.
and again it's literally just whistleblowing. The PNM saying nice things, good things, right? When we really know that he's meaning, all right, you could whistleblow, but nobody in parliament, nobody in my cabinet, nobody high up as a financier or a friend or whatnot. We already know when you say that certain people are already untouchable, right? You cannot be bringing whistleblower legislation if it means that a whole group of people are exempt.
Yeah, but I mean, if a state witness could have been poisoned because he had information on an attorney general, somebody could die by suicide with broken ribs and all kind of lesions all over his body, and you commit suicide shooting yourself to the back of your head, right? So you literally have to do this. Nobody's commit suicide with the gun to the back of the head, right? And we don't have a suicide rate by gunshots in Trinidad. Our go-to is Grammar Zone.
Oh, I nothing that don't count me.
Trinidadians go-to suicide measures is Grammar Zone,
I just
especially if you're going to live here or hanging,
yeah.
right?
Um,
And a whole, to tell you how Trinidadians is hypocritical too, the same shit going on with the Coast Guard now. Coast Guard finally do something to protect borders. Oh God, how well they could have opened fire on the boat, but that is what border protection is. All you don't watch what the US does do. The US does ram their boats into other people's boat, and they would
yeah,
open fire to sink you before you get to land. That is what border protection is.
yeah. I trying to understand what the issue is because
Okay, the baby died. So all right,
yeah,
sorry, but
no,
Jesus,
no. But the thing about it is, are you
long
saying
time on
that
a dangerous
if it
ride?
if it was if it was an adult, you wouldn't feel thing about it? Is it people had bleeding because a baby died? Right? It is unfortunate. It is very, very sad. But let us get real because we in the Progressive Empowerment Party have been hammering on this point, right? But because that is what it takes to secure our borders. So today is one of those days where I want to congratulate the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard because I thought if we believe the account of the Coast Guard, right, for the story that they said as it is, then they did their job. And I am
Yes,
very, very proud of them, right?
for
The thing
once.
about it is securing a country's borders, it is not an easy thing. It is not a walk in the park, flowers and rainbows. And that is not what it is, right? They intercepted the vehicle, they told it to stop, the vehicle started to charge, try to ram them, then they had no choice but to open fire. Now that will send a strong message to anybody wanting to jump on a little dinghy and just come into Trinidad and Tobago that maybe the TNT Coast Guard is need to be feared and respected. And I am very, very proud of them this
Don't
morning.
mind. Don't mind. They just make themselves a joke when they sink their own $250,000 vessels down south,
Yeah,
right?
yes. Well, we will get to that.
And then
Yeah.
the next one that break the more down in Chagaramas and run ashore, they just make themselves their own joke. But nevertheless, I would
No,
look
no,
past
no.
those two negative incidents. Actually,
None
three
of that,
because
ma'am.
they one
We
already.
had to talk about it. We had to talk about it. But what I was going and say is that it have human rights activists jumping up and Nafisa Mohammed claiming how there was a humanitarian element missing and how they treated with that job. And I was like, what? Wait a minute, wait a minute. So Trinidadians could be raped, murdered, trafficked, slaughtered. It have children hungry, starving, no school, whatever. And all you don't get all your knickers in a bunch for that, but a little Venezuelan baby whose mother with other people coming into our country illegally, your heart bleeding for that? No, no, no. You need to get all your priorities right. Get your
Nafisa,
priorities right.
Nafisa hijab probably a little too tight on her head. That's why she talking shit. Because I didn't hear her talk about the baby who they slice open in Sandy Grande.
Thank
I didn't
you.
hear her talk about the little boy who get the wrong eye surgery down south. So they need to tell her
Thank you.
to kiss our behind with that bullshit.
She didn't talk
Because
about the
if that
51-year
Venezuelan
old.
mother cared about her
Yeah.
own safety and her child safety, she wouldn't transit on no dinghy to get over here, over dangerous waters.
Yeah, we didn't hear Nafisa talking about the 51-year-old who had her pelvic area washed with lye, right after a hysterectomy at our joke of a public hospital, right? No, 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 no. You see the crocodile tears. You see the crocodile tears for things that have nothing to do with us. We need to get real. This is just like when George Floyd died
Not
and
a
Trinidadians jump up and boil Black Lives Matter. And Philip asked, but Black lives in Trinidad don't matter? Come now, man.
And where them now? A set of flicking hypocrites. If you know how Black Lives Matters and woman sure does upset me in Trinidad, I just feel to rip up anything I hear them say. Because it's like, what shit all you on? All you don't come to the rescue of people here in Trinidad. You don't talk about Black Lives Matter here. You don't talk about them in jail, who there and the case in call yet. You don't talk
Yeah,
about nothing pertaining to anything black related here.
yeah.
But in states.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, in Trinidad, if you're black and you happen to be you're coming from a underserved, underrepresented community, whatnot, and you find yourself in trouble, what we as ball is, and that's mommy nice child, that's
Yeah.
good for them. That is our attitude. We need to get real. It is very sad that that baby had to die, but our Coast Guard did what they were supposed to do. And in a
Yes.
job like that, there's a thing called collateral damage. Unfortunately, it was this baby,
But how they
right?
will know
Parents
it
have
had
bad
a baby
manners.
board anyways? It's not
No,
our Coast Guard fault. It's their fault. What the flick you trying to come over here for? Deal with your country. We can't come over there. All your
yeah, but
guarda posters want to get on with us.
But they get through, because they brought them ashore because the mother was taken to San Fernando General Hospital for treatment for her shot. She was also wounded.
So they still
So
make it to friggin' Trinidad.
they still made it. They still made it. The Coast Guard was treating with the fact that they did not stop when they told them to stop, and the vessel got tried to ram them. I am very proud of those boys this morning. Well done.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate situation, but either way, this is what protecting your borders is. I don't hear people getting vexed when police open fire, on certain areas, or they wasn't
Yeah,
upset when they opened tear gas on the people in the Queen's Park Savannah.
yeah,
Where you wanted
yeah.
them to do tear gas the boat?
Yeah, nobody heart was bleeding when the little boys escaped from the home in Valsain and then ended up dead in Lavantil. I
No
didn't
black
I didn't hear
lives
Nafisa
matter.
then.
Joan,
Nafisa have nothing to say then.
Joan Jadubir, this life is not for you if you can't handle the truth. UNC is corrupt. They are part of the problem. If you can't handle the truth, wrong program, darling.
So we had some good news coming from the Coast Guard, but on the flip side, because our country does give like that, good
And
news and bad news, and you had to take it. This weekend, a $250,000 200 HP engine sank. Right? It was anchored at the sub base in San Fernando Yacht Club, and conveniently, there were no officers at base when it sank. I don't know what to make
it's like
of
they
this.
give
I have
and they
so
take
many
away.
questions.
They take away at the same time. Coast Guard is Coast Guard. There's Coast Guard.
And the Lord gives and the Lord take away.
Right? That's left hand right. That's left foot right there. Right? How that sink? How it is
No, that's not
nobody
left.
was on the base?
That's not left foot, right foot. That is 3 steps forward and 5 back.
How nobody was on the base? So south of borders wide open.
Conveniently, the day that this vessel sank. Now I have questions, right? I have questions. Was the vessel faulty? Did it have a leak? Was it there because it had to be repaired? I need to get the whole story because it is too easy for our taxpayers' dollars to just sink to the bottom of the ocean and then we get no explanation.
I feel I
Right?
need to get Don Polo phone number.
Who is going to be held responsible for this,
And the thing
right?
is, it's not to say we had any storm surge, no bad weather, nothing to suggest that it took on water, nothing. What the
Hey,
hell?
I suspect foul play. I think it didn't sink on its own. I think it had some assistance, right?
Yeah, but we even have cameras there to say, well, right, let's see if somebody sabotage it. But how you could have a base and nobody on the base?
And nobody there, and exactly, and it's not secured and whatnot. So I would hope that there is footage, or that they would be able to investigate exactly what happened. Again, in a country that works, somebody would be responsible and somebody would be answering for
There would
this.
have been an investigation already as to find out, well, what happened? How it had nobody there? So nobody knows. If the Coast Guard know they have a set of vehicles there that faulty, why they don't just auction it off and let me buy one?
Yeah, I need to understand what happened there. Um, because again, and this is what has happened everywhere you look, there is always something. We had the construction taking place at Port of Spain General Hospital with the Chinese company that was halted. We don't know how many billions of dollars was already pumped into that project, and for whatever reason the Chinese construction company has pulled out and they have backed out. That is taxpayers' money. We have the disaster that is Mosquito Creek. We have vessels that just sinking. It is too much money that
Play
the
Gypsy
government
song.
does not
Captain, your ship is sinking. The Gypsy really
account
on the
for.
right team now, PNM.
Literally.
He on the right team now, PNM, because PNM dragging this country down in every sector. Every sector is collapsing.
Yeah.
Hell, you hear Terrence cry, any real tears for that baby in Sandy Grande, or the boy who get the wrong surgery, or the same lady with the lie on her
We
genital.
have to talk about that though, huh? We need to talk about that, because that one has blown my mind. There are so many elements to it. Now, this is only coming to the forefront now, to the news now, but this actually happened in April of 2019, right? The reason why we're hearing about it now is that the Regional Health Authority said that they were going to pay for the reconstructive surgery that she had to get, which is valued at 116,000 US dollars. We're hearing about it now because this lady's surgery is on the 17th of February, but the health authority is now saying, well, we don't know if we'll be able to access the US currency that is needed for her to get the surgery. Well, they had 2 years. What all they was doing?
Yeah, but as a health authority, always. So how do you ask always get medicine and thing then?
That was question one. There's another question. The next question is, how lie end up in the operating theater? Lye that is used to clean toilets and bathrooms and whatnot. It's acid and it's corrosive. How did that, right? How did that end up in the operating theater, right? And like Philip said, people don't care unless it's your mother who went for a routine hysterectomy and got her private parts washed with acid. Then you have something to say about how failed and miserable our healthcare is.
Where war mantra.
Where Romancho? Where Nafisa?
Yeah. Napisa. Where you go? Where you went to women's cause they come out for a report.
Yeah.
Where PNM's Women's League? Where Camille Robinson Reggie? Because I think she's the only one behind PNM Women's League.
Yeah. Right.
Where
Right.
Terrence?
Yeah.
That woman, that could be the same age as Terrence's wife.
Yeah. So I really hope this works out for her. She's 51 years old. Her name is Catherine Akamlum. And that is very unfortunate. I mean, that is as bad as it gets. If you want to know what failed healthcare looks like in a country, right? And everybody now supposed to be under questioning. Everybody who was in the operating room, the person who was responsible for actually pouring out the distilled water. It was supposed to be distilled water, and it ended up being lye. Everybody's supposed to be under the gun, right? The doctor who was doing the surgery is supposed to be questioning we know in Trinidad, these hospitals don't have boards or a chief of staff or something, right?
They have an administrator.
That one, I was like, no boy, right? So when you finally fight through, you get an appointment, you actually do get an operation in this country, you now have to hope that they don't leave a piece of operating cloth in you and stitch you back up. You have to hope that they don't puncture important organs, and you have to hope that they don't wash out your private parts with acid.
And they have to hope you get the correct surgery.
right? And Philip is asking the question, not a failed state, not a failed nation. So how come it is?
Because the people who don't like to hear that is not the ones who have those things to be concerned about. They've never experienced what the wolf could do. That is it. When you listen, it's the same thing like that Maxine woman who they put as on the commissioner. Oh, I'm black and educated. I am not catching my ass, blah, blah, blah.
And all
Okay.
my friends are like me. Okay,
Yeah.
that's you.
That is exactly. And that is you because you were raised in a completely different demographic. What about if you were born in Sealots or some other PNM, kind of back dirty area where not enough water, not enough, you don't have running water, you had to pass through somebody else's house to get to the bathroom, you're still using latrine,
Yep.
right? What if you was born in a situation like that where you're good in school, you're doing well in school, but because of the stigma of the area, your parents have to go and find somebody who live in Hillsborough or somewhere else to put down that address. So you have a fighting chance of passing for a school you deserve to pass for based on your grades. And if Trinidadians who live in some friggin' bubble don't realize that that happens, yes, it does. I actually know people who had to do that for their children to pass for school.
Yeah.
Right? And it was not Fitzgerald Hines address in Hillsborough.
Yeah, but it's not even just for schooling as well, it's for jobs as well. People
Yeah,
get discriminated. People would not even call them into interviews because they see they put Laventil or they put Sealots on the address,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, but
So even when you're trying to fight your way out, the very community that you live in is like a noose around your neck.
yeah, but some of them have to leave home, look in vests and three quarters, and then change in their shirt and tie outside of the area.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. And all you're feeling this country working, it works for a select few. And it's not even work. When you could call the minister and say, right, I need a passport done, I am not waiting. Or I need
Exactly.
a vehicle transferred and I want the date backdated. You could get through with that. Case in point, the
Yeah.
madness going on with Faris vehicle.
Yeah, yeah. And what you say is very true because it's not that it's working. It's just that people have
The
a network
connection.
that they can access, right? And you literally call and you bypass everything. That's what happens when you say, well, I need to get my passport tomorrow. That's not the system working. That is you pulling strings, calling people you
Yeah.
know to pull in favors. That's not working. That cannot be how it is for everybody.
And then you will go on social media and boast, oh, I got a link up. That's not the
Yeah.
country working.
And we love that in this country to feel important, to
Yeah.
feel better than other people, right? We love that in this country. Yeah, how I get through is I call a friend and whatever, whatever, whatever.
Yeah. And it happens
Not a
across
failed
the board.
state. Yeah, not a failed state.
You have a
It's
problem in a
quite
particular
limited.
police station, you call somebody who you know, who in a higher rank, to get them to do what they're supposed to do. Or you call the Minister of National Security, who might show up in the station.
Hmm.
And then all they want to ball, oh, it's not a failed state. Why Philip calling Trinidad a shithole? Look, they catch Nikki Crosby. She's our next jackass. Because you're going over any states, Candace Owen make a comment about something. I can't even remember what it was. And Nikki Crosby's like, oh, that is what you commenting about when it have so much things wrong with this country. And it's like, well, Nikki, you flee your country that have problems, so want to talk about our next man problems?
Yeah.
But you're coming back to tell people to get vaccinated. Why you leave Trinidad then?
Yeah.
Why did you leave Trinidad? Not to get a better life abroad? Because you get
Yeah.
robbed here, you get frightened, the wolf reach your door, right?
Yeah.
And you can't take it no more. You're probably, not getting jobs or whatever the case is. And you decide to pack up and leave.
Yeah. But mind you, she's talking about so much things wrong with her country. The least of her problems is power outages every 2 minutes, water. She don't have to worry about water. She could afford her groceries. She don't have to leave her house and be terrified that she could get gunned down anywhere, right? Or if for some reason you had to call an ambulance because you get sick, it coming in 8 minutes. What is Nikki talking about? She can become she certainly can be trying to compare America to Trinidad.
No, she wasn't even talking about Trinidad, She was
I
telling.
know that, but I was like, what is your point of reference? Right? Because you clearly you didn't see anything wrong in Trinidad. So what
No,
is your point of reference?
just the fact that she
Any
rich. I didn't know she was an American citizen.
Nikki
When
escaped.
America started to deport them kind of Trinidadians, then they will know, oh God, no, the stupidness that has come out of people's mouth. You didn't stand up once in this country to open your mouth and talk about the foolishness going on here. You leave, but you want to have the audacity to talk about our next man country. So much things wrong in the United States. What wrong there that we don't have it worse off here? People just die waiting on ambulance. You could get the wrong surgery in the public hospital. Your
Yeah,
baby could dead in the hospital. A mother could die giving birth.
yeah,
You could lose an entire election by somebody thieving it because it
yeah,
be seen a hot mess. Dead people
yeah,
showing up to vote, right?
yeah,
People showing up to vote and they name and when the actual person show up with the ID card, their name done cross off the list already, right? And nobody could come and say that's not true, because a man messaged me and said, listen, Lima, I wanted to vote for you. However, when I got to the thing, my name was already crossed off. It's like,
yeah,
I have no ink on my fingers. So that is the foolishness that's happening in Trinidad. Well, they want to talk. The fire service does want to work, but can't work because we have a jackass in charge of Ministry of National Security.
yeah.
The police service is an entire conundrum. Defense force killing out their own, and if it's not that, they mentally ill and they showing up by the ex-girlfriend house to beat up the new boyfriend.
The list goes on and on and on and
Coast
on
Guard
and
pulling
on.
and tugging with their own self. Right?
Yeah,
1 minute, yeah, let's do our job. Next minute, let's sync up. Pirog.
yeah, exactly. Going on 3 years of a pandemic, and
Yeah.
we still have school children who don't have devices, totally fall through the cracks, right?
You see the
And the list
distance
goes
of the
on.
classroom to the board?
Yeah, a
So all you
standard
do that.
size class.
So why you didn't put up projector screen?
And Philip asks, the children
Why
in the
they
back
didn't
have
put up projector
binoculars?
screen? Dolly
We
done
not
wearing glasses
serious.
already.
We
And she
not we
can't
not
see that.
we not serious. We have to get serious. We have to stand up in our reality and acknowledge it for what it is. And then it's like, okay, right, how do we move forward?
Right?
That's all
We
you need
live
to
in
know. We have to acknowledge that this is not working and then
yeah.
find the solution to move on.
And then we don't have a gun shop in Trinidad or a manufacturer shop, but yet still every minute is a shooting here, there, and everywhere.
Drive by, stray bullets killing children, right? 14-year-old
But
and a 10-year-old,
but
right?
we but we working as
Investigations that you will never hear of anymore.
yeah, right? A country where you could remove a qualified police commissioner because you don't like the man no more.
Conveniently.
Right? To put a yes man who ain't even qualified must be for flicking inspector. Right? Where we going? Well, you're vexed when people ball Trinidad is not a real place. We aren't. We operating on This is not even fantasy, because fire service and police service put out 2 fantasy videos of how they're supposed to operate. Well, we all know they don't operate, so.
Yeah.
Right? My husband was watching the one from police service that they had released, a few years ago. And I heard it.
2016.
Yeah, and I heard it. I was like, where's that, another fantasy video? And he started to laugh. He's like, why you so? I said, because guys, they don't do that. I said, when you call them, they don't show up after the person dead or after whatever the issue is, done died on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they show up, the vehicle ain't sounding like it could make it another move.
Yeah. And what has upset me is that they has put out these videos and as if they're trying to say, well, this is how things operate, as opposed to saying, this is where we would like to go. And this is what we need to get there. So this year, we are introducing how much ever new police officers into the force. We have acquired this equipment and that what and whatnot. I mean, don't lie to us. Don't lie to us and don't lie to yourselves, because the public more than anybody else knows how badly the police service fails us on a daily basis. Don't lie to us. Don't pretend. Anyway, guys.
I really don't know.
But this was a good talk this morning.
Zap Williams, if you have been following this program before, you would know we always talk about solutions. You could visit peptt.com and you will see the list of all the solutions. There are videos, everything. The only thing we don't have is pop-up pictures for people who just don't like to listen
or read.
Right? The information is out there. The same way people could find all kind of excuses as to say, well, this, that, the other, is the same way you could research what we're speaking about. You see the PEP there, you could research it and you will see all the list of solutions that we've had since 2018. Trinidadians don't like to do research. They're quick to run on the smallest thing. My God. Sometimes that's caretaker Trinis, you know.
No, well, no. I again, it is a result of the way that we have been governed and whatnot. We've become very lazy with our democracy, very trusting of the very people who are stabbing us in the back. Right? It's just like Glenn was telling us on Saturday. When you start to try to dissect the psychology and the psyche of these people, man saying he voting for Rowley no matter what, because they didn't have water before and they put a standpipe. And for him, in his mind, that equates progress, that equates his prime minister working for him with all the billions of dollars that is allocated towards infrastructure and works and transport and things like that. And he believes that that was enough. That's what we're fighting.
I wonder how much days a week that standby does have water.
So again, like Lemma said, if this is the first time you're encountering the Progressive Empowerment Party, we have this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We talk about the issues that are affecting us on a daily basis, and we also propose solutions that reflect the policies of the Progressive Empowerment Party, which you can find at peptt.com/policies.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, guys, we've come to the end of our program. If you live in Davie South or you know anybody who lives there, tell them to go out and vote. We know it's local government, it's a by-election and it's a local government by-election and that. And Trinis don't really tend to take on local government, but just to prove that we want change, call your family who lives there and tell them go out and vote. Go out and vote. It is important. We need the change. We're desperate for that change.
Indeed.
right? Any closing remarks, Hadassah?
No, just to reiterate what you said, if you are in the Davis South area, please go out and vote and encourage your loved ones um, to do so. But again, it's just for every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago to get real and to decide if until the day you die that this is how you want to live in this country. If you want to continue paying exorbitant prices for food that we can grow and you can pay half that, if we want to continue exalt and lift up people who have no vision and no heart for our country and no desire whatsoever to change the status quo, it is really up to you to decide. Huh? It's really
Yeah,
up for you to decide. Think about that.
it is. So for any newcomers, if you want, check out the Progressive Empowerment Party's Facebook page and 21 policies. What is it? It's
.com.
.com for the actual explanation of the policies and the videos explaining, etc. We have it on every sector, including food, national security, border protection,
Yeah.
etc. So, right. So, guys, be safe, be careful out there, watch your surroundings, pay attention to your environment, and sanitize your hands, social distance, because we're still in a pandemic. Although it's a PNM pandemic, coupled with
All right,
stupidity.
guys.
But Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.